Hi, everyone. So I told you I was going to discuss a little bit more about this conversation I had with a local sister. Um, I want to say, first of all, shout out to an issue of Sincerity and Piano Davy for reminding me of the Revelation book, because that was one that I remember studying quite in-depthly and where most of my teaching of this came from. So it was really great to review that and give her some printouts. So thanks, guys. Um, like I said before, my intention of this meeting was, granted, I wanted to try and plant a few more seeds, but I really wanted to let her know where I stood, that I no longer believed in this organization and that I was now speaking out. Um, so when we sat down, started talking, and I was explaining that, that I didn't believe in this organization and that their involvement with the UN to me was the unforgivable sin. There was absolutely no excuse. Absolutely no excuse. So she, wanted to explain their side a little bit. And first of all, it was the non-governmental part of it. It was non-government, non. And she kind of went round and round that it was not any part of the government. And so I went into the teachings from the Watchtower that the UN is part of the wild beast, a large part of the wild beast. And she agreed. And that we were to have no part of it. Nothing. We can't give the guy a breath mint. We can't do anything. No part of it does not mean we can register as any part of it. No part of it means we don't get access to the library. To have no part of it means just that. We have no part of it at all. And that now, because of the organization's involvement with the wild beast, they are now part of the harlot. Well, this is where some of the resistance came in, because she kept going, well, the harlot is false religion. Yes, I know. But now the organization is identifying itself as false religion. They are now part of the harlot, but the harlot is false religion. And we went round and round it, but the harlot is false religion. So finally it came down to her. But false religion teaches. False religion teaches the Trinity. False religion teaches Christmas. False religion teaches this and that and the other. And the harlot is false religion. So I had to explain to her that the organization lumps all religions as part of the harlot. And not all religions teach the Trinity. Not all religions teach the same thing. There's even many religions that have teachings very similar to the Jehovah's Witnesses. That it wasn't just the teachings, that it was the actions as well. And one of the actions of the harlot that we can recognize her by is that she is in bed fornicating with the wild beast. That her involvement with the wild beast is the action that you can recognize her from. And that the organization's involvement with the UN is now an action, that they are now in bed and fornicating with the wild beast. So they are now identifying themselves with the harlot, not by their teachings, but by their actions. This was one of the first little changes that I noticed in her. She started not talking to me as much as far as just the harlot's false religion, the harlot's false religion. She just couldn't, but they teach the Trinity, the harlot's false religion. It was very difficult to watch. It was hard. She then brought up Yankee Stadium and how when we have assemblies in New York, we use the Yankee Stadium, and the Yankee Stadium is owned by the Catholic Church. So I explained there was a big difference between using Yankee Stadium and being involved with the UN, because the Yankee Stadium, being owned by the Catholic, has never been identified as part of the wild beast. It's part of the harlot, but it's not part of the wild beast. And that it was different. That the organization's involvement with the wild beast is what is unforgivable. It's not the organization's involvement with other religions. Then she started saying stuff like it had to be an accident. It had to be an accident. So we talked a little bit about that. You know, what part of this organization does not understand these teachings? What department, what level, what group, what branch doesn't understand these teachings? And she agreed that it was common knowledge. She kept mumbling, it had to be an accident, it had to be an accident, it had to be an oversight. So I said, let's say it was an accident. Let's say some flunky lawyer one day out of law school decides it's a good idea. And he gets a couple other of his friends all one day out of law school, and they decide it's a good idea, and they fill it out. Everything gets approved by the governing body. The articles that are written, disfellowshipping proceedings, etc., everything gets run by the governing body. She said that was her understanding as well. I said, so even if some flunky lawyer one day out of school filled this out thinking it was a good idea, it still went before the governing body. They met on it, they voted on it, and they agreed that this was a good idea. I said, and then they did that every year for 10 years. It really was like watching a robot misfire. And it was very difficult to watch. She really started talking to herself. It was like, why would they do that? How could they do that? I don't understand. You know, it just round and round and round. This was the hardest part of the conversation, was watching this reaction go on in her head. I do have another video I plan to make where it's a little more upbuilding. It's like this kind of brought her down, and the other one's a little more upbuilding, talking about the slave and, you know, food at the proper time and other things like that. But I did want to share this with you for those of you on the front line, or those of you that are trying to reach your family. This is the mindset that you're facing, and this is the reaction that you can possibly get. And in talking to another YouTube user who has some experience in this, not going to drop names because we did talk about some personal stuff, but it was extremely helpful to understand the process that's going on and the reactions that are happening and how to be gentle with it. And I wish I would have had a little bit more information on how to handle it gently, because I didn't mean to bombard her, and I didn't expect the reaction that I got from her, to be honest. And I was a little bit blown away, and not in a good way. But I did do some upbuilding, and I will talk about that in another video, because it's a different subject. But anyway, like I said, I just wanted to share this with you, for those of you that are on the front lines, to this is what you're up against. They cannot identify themselves with the harlot. They cannot identify this organization with the harlot. They cannot recognize that it's the actions that this organization has taken and continues to take that make them now identified as part of the harlot. So anyway, I hope this helps you, and thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.